Right when you think you've seen everything Gibson has ever made, this freak shows up. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. So Brent hit me up on my email about this mysterious Gibson from the year 2003 that Gibson has verified it's real, but they have no additional information. He was wondering if I could help. Unfortunately, I have no idea, but I do have a channel that reaches many a people, so maybe the rest of the story will come out. But until then, let's go ahead and paint it as far as I know. We've got a giant gaudy Gibson logo, just like on a Carina Flying V, on the Futura style headstock. That's right, this split fork headstock does indeed predate Dean guitars and was used on a very few select original 50s Carina Explorers. So having that on this mystery guitar is not necessarily a new thing for Gibson, but slapping the badge on it in this orientation is a little bit different. We've got that weird Adam Jones Flying V reportedly coming out soon that borrowed this headstock, but outside of that, it's really the Gibson Moderne where they first used this in mass production. Now, no, not the 80s run. We're talking about the 2000s era, typically AMS Zounds exclusives. But to make this thing even crazier, we've got like this lime green sparkle finish on top of it. It reminds me of the early 2000s satin metallic series, where they had blue and green Explorers like these. Their headstocks were also a little bit weird with their truss rod cover design. There were also Flying V's with that, as well as the Futura that also features this weird headstock. And it looks like we've chromed it out with our truss rod cover, so that's a lot to take in just right here. But my friends, nothing, absolutely nothing will prepare you for what this guitar is. It's a Firebird. This thing is just so strange. I would have never imagined slapping that thing on a Firebird. But it's not just any Firebird, it looks like it's gotten some Hot Rod Deluxe vibes going on. For example, we recently documented the 2005 Les Paul Custom Tribal. That was in the fashion, the whole tribal tattoo thing in the hot rod culture. You would also find many guitars such as this one, where it would have a flame design pattern. Now this particular one is one of the carved top iterations. It's a bit higher end and has some color changing paint. But at the end of the day, since it doesn't have the binding, it just ends up looking like a studio with a standards neck thrown on it. You can get these relatively inexpensively. You could check out the Gibson GT series that has the ghost flames coming from the bottom. We've reviewed a couple of those, as well as the Guitar of the Week version that ditched the flames. There was also a custom shop version with the flame figuring that had a similar design, but printed this time. So the reason I bring these all up is these all occurred in like the mid 2000s or so. So this one being from 2003, it's right when they were doing this stuff. So it does make sense in historical context, because when I first saw this, I thought, are we sure this is Gibson original? Did the headstock break off of a Firebird and somebody grafted this crazy thing on here and pimped their ride with a new paint job? But you've got the continuation of your green metal flake that appears to maybe change colors from like a darker green to a lighter green rather than a burst. But then you've got the blue flames with a little bit of red and orange. Come over to your knobs, they're the metal knurled style. And that whole pick guard looks like some sort of like a radiator grill. I'm a little bit sad to not see like a metal Firebird put on there. But then, hey, Firebirds! They are known for this, the Firebird pickups, mini humbucker sized. But this one over here's got the full Mac Daddies. No vintage style trems either, it's just stop bar tailpiece, so relatively tame in that aspect. Then would you look at this? It is an unmarked ebony fretboard. All right, let's move on to the back now. Just kidding. I don't know if you noticed it, but there's shadows on our fretboard here, so you know what that means, right? The entire fretboard is scalloped. I can't think of a single factory stock run of Gibson guitars that came scalloped. So that is definitely crazy. And also makes you think, are we sure that it left the factory like this? If you don't know what scalloping your fretboard is, it's where you literally take out the wood in between your frets, which you can check out on my No Traditional Pickups Yngwie Malmsteen signature nylon Stratocaster. That's how it can look great from the factory, but essentially it's supposed to give you really good vibrato technique, and you never realize how much your fingers drag on the fretboard until you play a scalloped guitar. Now there's a lot of people that try to take this into their own hands, like this poor Poor Bahama Blue Sparkle V2 I had once. Somebody did a very terrible job scalloping that. I also had the Paul that was scalloped once. Scalloping goes way back, but as far as Gibson guitars go, nah, you don't find that every day. Everything else is so crazy about it, it kind of works. Now let's go to the back. Did you expect anything less? It looks like we got some sort of a metal backplate cover. We've got the continuation of our green paint job with our blue flames. Yeah, interesting. 3 strap buttons. I wonder if one of those was added later on. I like the burst job on the neck right here. And then our headstock, I don't know, do you call that a stinger? Because it's kind of more so like a continuation of your burst, because normally you get your burst jobs there. But look at it from here, and then look at it from this angle, you can kind of tell the metallic nature of the paint again. This is what made me think this left the factory like this. It's labeled a prototype, that's cool. It's got a serial number in the location that this headstock normally gets it. It's got 5 digits. It starts with 3, so that tells us, yes, his 2003 estimate is correct. But you wanna know what's crazy? There might be other colors of this out there. Or I wonder if this prototype later influenced some of those other models that we talked about, specifically the metallic satin run of guitars. And I'm sure somebody can fill us in on the rest of the tale. And hopefully one day we actually get to document this thing in the flesh, because Scalloped Fretboard Firebird. But before we have more fun tonight, let's have a word from our sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater is a great place to buy your stuff, but it's not just guitars. You can also buy amps, effects pedals, patch leads, whatever you need for general music making. They are your place, and they're happy to ship it to your door, or you can visit their Fort Wayne, Indiana location. And if you happen to be local, they have tons of events all the time. They also do monthly giveaways that you can follow the link in the description to become a part of. But if giveaways aren't your style, they're also having a whole bunch of early Black Friday sales. So use that link in the description and see what gear might be waiting for you. Thank you, Sweetwater, for being a continuous sponsor of my show. And now let's get back to our guitar. If you thought our first feature today was too crazy, let's go vintage crazy. Olivia's Vintage listed this one tonight. It's a 1957 Les Paul Custom, but it's been playerified. It's terrifying, but awesome at the exact same time. If I was looking for a player's grade 50s vintage, this is exactly the kind of thing I would want. Les Paul Customs. Traditionally, they're known for being introduced in 1954. Are there some late 53s? Yes. But 54 through early 57, it's the Alnico 5 staple pickup version before they switch over into the humbuckers. So this is one of the later staple pickup versions one made. But normally, we would have a P90 in the bridge, but somebody took that thing and routed it out for a humbucker. Gotta remember, these weren't always really expensive vintage pieces. At one point in time, they were just used guitars and they had a function. But it looks like somebody put a 59 Seymour Duncan in it. And, all things considered, that was a good route job. A lot of times, enlarging those routes can be a real hack job. I could see Gibson doing a custom release of a guitar like this. But they decided to route up, and then they threw something else right here. If that's your first time seeing that, you're probably going to be confused. It has to do with this. Somebody put a MIDI synth system on there. Now that can make your guitar sound like a whole bunch of different stuff. It was very popular to do. A lot of times it'll be like a roll-in system that you actually screw into your top here. So you'll just have 2 nail holes here if you wanted to remove that. But this one had some more extensive routing going on. And then obviously we get 2 little switches here, and then it looks like a dialer knob so you can control that system. And looking in here, again, this was professionally done, not a hack job in my opinion. You could restore that back to original if you wanted to. Apparently this was for the ARP Avatar system, which, yeah, good luck finding one of those, let alone in functional condition. But it's cool that they were able to find the Avatone. And we still have our pickguard. But apparently this was owned by Ned Lieben, who recorded the demonstration record insert from the ARP Avatar promotional literature. So basically, it was that guy. So besides our new pickups here, what else has been changed? Not too much. You've got your ABR1, you've got your stop bar tailpiece. Overall, seems to actually be in pretty good condition. Going to our headstock, it appears to have been reamed out for more modern tuners. Which, looking at the back, they're 70 Schallers. Nothing wrong with that. Still has a serial number. Body contours haven't been modified. No access heel carving or anything too crazy. That's just a solid dog right there. They're asking $26,000, which might seem crazy to the general guitar buyer. You can see what other people are asking for ones that haven't been modified. Again, asking. As far as actual selling prices, here's what we have, but we don't really have any type of modern sale. Probably safe to assume between 30 and 40K. So this is one of those ones where there are people out there that love these types of things. It'll sell. And hey, as an added bonus, they actually have the original tuners here. Those are worth money, even if they need some repair, and the original bridge pickup. But now, for just a little bit less, you can score yourself a real 54 Goldtop. Except this time, it's not gold anymore. So apparently they sent it down to Kim over at Historic Makeovers and they gave it a green top. And I've got to say, they aged it pretty good. I mean, it looks like it was done that way a long time ago. But no, it was literally just completed. I've never experienced his work in person, but all the photos I see, he is one of the masters. Kind of cool that we've got the dark back finish. That complements the green pretty well, but here it is, stripped down and naked. You know what this was? Somebody probably had this as the regular Goldtop, and this area had worn away, and they're like, oh yeah, we hit the jackpot. And it happens all the time, then they strip off the finish and go, no, it's not the best candidate for a burst conversion, so they cover it back up. That's the way stories go. I don't know exactly on this one, but I think that looks pretty good, especially right next to his 52 over here. Our next stop here is a model I did not realize existed. So it's a 1995 Gibson Jimi Hendrix guitar. And you might be saying, hey, Trogly, what the heck are you talking about? The Gibson Custom Shop just released this thing. You documented it. How can you forget? No, my friends. This might be the Isle of Wight Flying V, based on a custom guitar Gibson made for Hendrix. However, there is actually a limited run of these done in 1991, and that's exactly what I thought this one was, because all the specs are pretty much on point for it. I wouldn't mind documenting one of the originals, but unfortunately, that custom shop run made people want to ask a lot more money for those, and they're just not selling. So I'll have to wait for a good deal on one of them. But I got to the headstock on this one, and I was like, I don't remember those having a truss rod cover like that says 25 years. And that's because they didn't. They just had a normal bell style one. And the slanted logo is just one of their unique features. Apparently, there was another small limited run of these I didn't know about in 1995 for RCA's 25th anniversary. Reportedly, there were around 25 of these things made. So there you go, Hendrix collectors. Another V to keep an eye out on. Although, to be honest, this COA kind of freaks me out. It's a little bit too big up here. Why does our serial number go to 1995, but yet it's filled out in 1998? That seems a little bit far-fetched. It makes me wonder if this was a photocopy of the original one at some point in time. Not saying that this guitar is fake or anything. It looks the real deal. I'm just kind of confused by some of those dates. They are asking $7,600. If you watch it, they instantly send you a 10% off offer as well. I'm sure that'll sell. Continuing on our journey, hey, look what came back up for sale. It's about $5,600. It's the Anniversary guitar from 2006. We talked about this one a couple of months ago when it first popped up. I think it sold and now somebody else is selling it. I don't really remember. But what's cool about this one is it has a matching headstock in 2006. That is not as common as it is today with our mod collection demo shop stuff spoiling us. If only we didn't have this logo on it, that would almost be a must-have. We also have a Rattler burst show up. I know people are always looking for these, so I thought I'd bring it up. There was also a Centipede. As I'm guitar searching, I make like a whole bunch of tabs. I have way too many windows open. I was gutted to see. I actually found the auction where these initially were, and they sold for pennies. This guy got it out of an auction for like $3,500, which was a really good deal. Same thing was true for the Centipede. I regret forgetting about that auction because I would like a Rattler burst and a Centipede in my collection, and I missed my opportunity. For me, the Rattler has never been my favorite because it's just like a printed design. It's not as cool. But since we've got a scary little snake dude on the back of the headstock and a stinger, I'm all for it. And here's the Centipede that showed up. He's asking 10 grand. We actually did review one of these. Fortunately, it got the headstock break on its way to me. So that's why I'm currently without one of these. The big claim to fame feature on this one is the multicolored headstock. Yellow, red, and then blue with the yellowed over binding. Because it's supposed to look like this little squiggly wiggly guy. Here was an interesting refinished 2001 custom. They're asking a little over $6,000, which is very high. But it's got a really cool vibe. Nice plain top, but the white plastics help pop it, makes the binding really in your face. You've got all the white pickups. Somebody's really enjoyed playing it, that's for sure. It's also been refretted. It's had all the works done. Man, this thing's not even that old. How did it need that much work? That headstock logo looks a little bit weird. Very possible it's just the photo angle. And you gotta remember, this is one of those pre-custom shop customs, and there's definitely been some sanding and finish work going on. It's possible they had to replace the headstock cap. Back is very bare bones, so I'm not sure how great this refinish would feel. That's the hard thing about buying refinished guitars online, is you never know how it's gonna feel, because they can look great in photos, but then you get them and it's like orange peely, or it's just like a satin or rattle can finish. But hey, if you're local to the shop in Spain, maybe check it out, you might like it. And then to end out our journey tonight, we're actually gonna go to 85. This one's a bit of an outlier in this episode, but I would say it's actually an okay deal, 1700. This is one of the XPLs, but it's not the one I documented in this episode. This is the version that has the bound flame top. Now, it looks like somebody's refinished this one, but it's got the original Dirty Fingers pickups yet. Something about this one calls me, and I've bought from this seller before, so I was tempted to ask him about it, but okay, now I see why. It's a Gibron. That's somebody who's knocked off their headstock and had to put a new logo on it. And oh cool, it's kind of an open pore finish on the back with what looks like a homemade backplate cover. Okay, I can kind of see why this one's a little cheaper now. It's got a vibe to it, but again, it's one of those ones where I don't think the finish is gonna feel that great, but people love candidates for restoration, and maybe it's not as bad as it looks in the photos. Cool, we actually have old photos of it in the regular cherry sunburst color. But anyways, now you know it exists. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed our fun tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.